Hey, what's going on, guys? This is Mitchell Miller. So hey, this video I've got 5 things that I've learned about life that I want to share with you guys. I've had this list throughout the day. So I'm 29 right now. So some of you that watch this in the future may be much older than I am, and you might have an extensive, like a bigger list than I do. But regardless, everybody can learn from everybody because everybody's life is different. And so with that being said, I just want to go into these, and I'm going to try to do my best to explain these in a way that makes sense. But just the statements that I'm going to say should be enough to validate the video in itself. Okay, so number 1, people only care about themselves. All right, so this can be just people in general. I am 29. I have been in numerous relationships. I have had numerous friends. I have been in, I've been in business, in the business scene, I should say, since 2016. And that's not saying that everything I've ever done has been successful. And so what do I mean by people only care about themselves? Well, let's break down each one of these things, okay? So you have to understand that at the end of the day, whether it's your friend, a business partner, a coworker, or a relationship, at the end of the day, if that person decides to leave, like the job, the business, or the relationship, everything that happened to them is gonna, basically their life's gonna continue to go on. And so what I mean by that is if you're in a relationship and you've done all these things for somebody and they still feel like they don't want to be part of the relationship because they can find better elsewhere, well, in their mind, they're looking for somebody that can make their life better. So that is them, being selfish. So in a business environment, if you are trying to do a deal and you're trying to talk to somebody that just really doesn't want what you want. Now, this is more than business. This could be if you have like a sales job. You're going to get told no like every single time, because even if you know that what you have to offer them will help them in some way, if they don't believe it, right? If they don't believe that what you have to offer is going to benefit their life in any way, then they're not going to buy from you. But again, people only care about themselves, okay? So let's talk about like friends. I feel like this one's probably the easiest to understand, right? You might, like, the older you get, the less friends you start to have. And then the older you get, you also start to see, people really aren't who they say they are. Like, people are going to do things. You might have a friend that talks shit behind your back. You might have a friend that likes your girlfriend, and he's going to start talking shit to your girlfriend about you in hopes that you break up with him so you can start dating him. Does that make sense? Same thing, applies if you're a guy with a boyfriend. I'm really struggling on how to explain, people only care about themselves, other than like, it's at the end of the day, you are not that person. Like, you are your own individual self. So you have to look after yourself at the end of the day. Like, I live by myself right now. If I have a partner, like if she or he or they are helping me pay the bills and I'm feeling, comfortable, and then they decide that where I live right now isn't good enough for them anymore and they want to move away, or let's say that they met someone and they think that they want to move in with them because their life would be better with them, then I'm going to be stuck paying the bills by myself. And let's say that if I'm paying that, like, let's say that I live in like an apartment and I had a roommate, and the only way I was able to get that roommate was if I could split the rent with somebody. Well, that roommate let's say that roommate's single and they meet somebody, and later down the road they want to move in with their partner because they feel that it's their best interest to move in with their partner. Their life's going to get better by doing that. Then I'm going to be left all alone, struggling to pay these bills in that situation. So again, hopefully that explained that people only care about themselves, okay? Number 2, life isn't fair. I'm 29 and I'm in a wheelchair. I've been in a wheelchair for 6 years now. Do I want to be in a wheelchair? Absolutely fucking not. But, with that being said, life could be worse. Like, let's look at my injury, okay? So not only can I not walk, I can't use my left hand. My blood pressure is low, so I have to worry about my blood pressure dropping throughout the day. I can't sweat, so with that being said, I get hot really fast. I can't pee on my own. I've got to use catheters. That means that getting around in my car or taking care of my dog or just cleaning my house in general is a lot harder. Now, if I could still walk and use my body like a normal person, this wouldn't be that bad, right? Life isn't fair. So like the first business that I started back in 2016 was a company called Black Tip Marketing. I've been in the marketing scene since 2016. When I first got started, I was out there. That was in the prime time to start one of these businesses too. That's when everybody started really pushing like the whole digital marketing thing. So if I knew what I knew now back then, I'd probably be a millionaire. But with that being said, you know, like when you don't know something, you can't just expect, and that's going to tie into my next point, but you can't just expect to go out into the world starting a business and thinking that it's just going to be, you know, petals and roses so easy and that everyone's just going to want to work with you and pay you money. That's not the case. It is a grind. And that actually brings us to number 3, and that's it takes more work than you think it will. Okay, this could be related to anything. So in a business sense, I've been following up with people since 2013, and I had one of these women reach out to me yesterday and tell me that she is not interested in working with me, right? But I haven't heard from her that entire time. Growing a business in general is going to take much more time than you think it will. Okay, I think it was Tony Robbins that said we overestimate what we can do in a year, but underestimate what we can do in, I think, a decade. I think, or let's look at you know, it takes more work than you think it will. Like let's say wanting to lift weights or play sports or learn a new skill. You can't just expect to go out and learn how to like competitively shoot guns and be good at it the very first day. Now you might have like a natural ability to shoot, or you might naturally be strong because of your genetic structure, but that still doesn't mean that you're going to be able to just automatically get to the level of skill and success that you want to. Everything takes more work than you think it will. Like if you think that you're going to have abs in 60 days, that's very possible. That's very possible. But you know, for most people, maybe it's really not. It could take like 6 months, depending on what you're willing to do and what your body allows you to do. And so in that case, you know, when it comes to work, it takes more work than you think it will. That's relatable to just everything in life. Like no matter what, when it comes to like, let's say moving from an apartment to a house, even if you have movers, it's still going to be like a half day or all day process. When it comes to getting a girlfriend, you have to go out on dates and find people that are genuinely into you, and you've got to vet them, and then it takes time for some of these girls or guys to want to be with you, fall in love with you, etc., etc. I think that's why it's so easy to go back to an ex, because you've already got that experience before, right? And then number 4, this one right here, the strongest negotiation tactic is to be able to walk away from a situation and mean it. I learned about this from Corey Wayne, who learned about this from a Green Beret. And basically, let me give you some examples. So if your boyfriend or your girlfriend breaks up with you, they told you, I no longer want to be with you in a romantic way. I want to just be friends. And everybody knows, like if you're in a romantic relationship and they just want to be friends, fuck that. It's either romance and sex or nothing at all. So with that being said, in that situation, you will never speak to your ex-boyfriend or girlfriend again until they reach out and they have to fix it. In the sense of business, for example, if you are on a call with somebody and you're saying, hey, this is what it costs to work with me, and they're sitting here trying to lowball you, but you know this is a really good deal that can make you a lot of money, regardless, if these people aren't willing to pay you what you want to be paid by accepting a lower price. So by accepting a lower price, you are telling these people that you're worth less than what you're saying. By texting an ex-boyfriend or girlfriend first, you are, first of all, not respecting yourself because they broke up with you, and 2, you're not respecting them because they probably wanted like space away from you if they said that, right? So in that case right there then, or if you're trying to like, the example that I've heard too is if you're trying to buy a car for $25,000 and they won't give it to you, okay, just say, okay, call me down the road if you still have it and you want to sell it for me at that point. And if they come back, if an ex comes back, they miss you. If the business deal comes back because they want to do deals with you and they probably got fucked from something else in the past. Or if the car came back, that's probably because they couldn't find anybody to sell it. Sell it to. And then the next one is this one's so super big. This one is why I love self-education. And that's don't be afraid to make mistakes. Look back at a situation in which you did wrong in and go out and search for ways to do better the next time around. So this applies for anything. Even if you think you've done everything perfectly, I guarantee you you can always find something in where you did not do the right thing. Maybe you didn't show up as the person you used to be or needed to be, and you can always look back at your behaviors and your actions and you can say, you know what, that right there probably pushed them away. Or you know what, me sending that email probably fucked that deal up because that person responded badly. Or you know what, I didn't cold call these 20 accounts that potentially could have made me some money. So in that case, then if you're making a mistake, so let's say that you're trying to practice cold calling, and this is something I've never done and I don't ever want to do because email is much more effective. Email, social media, much more effective. But let's say you're trying to learn how to cold call. Well, and you can't, and you're scared about getting rejected. So when you call them, you do this a couple times and you stutter, and you just don't know what to say. It's up to you to go out and take courses or read books in which you can learn about a more appropriate way or a successful way on how to start something. I'll tell you this right now. You want to learn from the mistakes of other people so you don't have to make these mistakes, okay? So let's tie this back into like a relationship, something everybody can relate to in this case. If you were being too needy and you were chasing this person, texting them too much, calling them too much, and you just really didn't give them the space. So the quote that I live by right now, and I love this quote, I just wish I knew this quote sooner, was you need to love in a way where the other person feels free. So if this person that you're, in this case, talking to or dating to, if they're constantly feeling like you're pressuring them to hang out with them 24/7, and they never really get the time to go out and do things by themselves, like hang out with friends, or if they don't have friends, do things that they want to do, like if they want to clean the house by themselves, or they want to go to the gym by themselves, or they want to go for a walk, or whatever, man. You got to be okay. You got to be cool with letting them go and do that. And if you're not cool with giving space, well, then you need to go out and find ways on how to practice being okay with being alone. And I can tell you from experience, a lot of that comes from being forced into a situation where you have to be alone. And then what happens is over time, once your anxiety cools off, you're going to be like, you know what? I really didn't need that other person to begin with. So a lot of this too will get better with age or the more experience you have. So if you've been through, in this case, breakups, if you've been through enough breakups, you're going to be forced to be alone for short periods of time unless you are the type to monkey branch like a piece of shit, or you like get on dating apps or something, like you're seeking attention and you're not allowing yourself the time to be alone to learn from that. Well, then you're never going to learn. Or let's look at like another one. I said sales, I said relationships. If we go back to let's say like business, for example. Let's say that you made a bunch of money and then at the end of the year you owe a shit ton of taxes, and you're working with an accountant, and this accountant, it says, hey, here's your bill, and you're not aware of you don't know enough about what they're doing. You might be able to point out different things that you can write off. So for example, if you work from home like I do, I can buy a bunch of firearms and I can write those off because the tax law says, at least in Florida from my understanding, that if you buy firearms for business, it has to be used for protection for the business. And since I work at home, I can have my guns here at home, my ammo here at home, and I can write all those off if I buy them in the business name because the guns are going to be at the location where my business is at, okay? So that's going to be the video right here. This short one I got for you guys today, but this one I just wanted to talk about. That's going to be the 5 things that I've learned about in life that I wish I could explain what these meant a little easier to really really understand what it is that I meant. A lot of these things will make sense to you in time, the more experience that you get. So again, people only care about themselves. When you interact with as many people as I have throughout life, you're going to understand that. If you're more like introverted, this one might not make sense to you, because if you choose to be by yourself instead of being around other people, well, you're really never going to figure this one out. Life isn't fair, okay? So if you're trying to do anything in life, or shit happens to you, if a lot of shit happens to you and you don't know why, well, you hear that saying, like, everything happens for a reason. Spiritually, I believe that. I do believe everything happens for a reason, whether it's a lesson learned or insight gained. But in that case, if I get hit by a drunk driver, can I say that this happened for a reason? I don't think so on that. But the fact that I'm still alive when I shouldn't be, I think that happened for a reason, right? I'm still trying to figure out what that was. Like, if you come into someone's life and you show them a side of things that they weren't able to see before, you came into their life for a reason. You taught them a lesson, and vice versa, right? So number 3, it takes more work than you think it will. This one's more, I wanted to tailor this one more towards business, because everybody wants to quit their 9-to-5 and start working in business, but nobody realizes when you do that, instead of working 40 hours a week, you're really going to be working like 80 hours a week. But when things really do start getting going and you start making money, like, it's enjoyable, and then work doesn't really feel like work. But getting there when you don't have the results is going to be hard, because once you start getting results and you can show people those results, that's when things start snowballing from there, okay? Also, too, the more work you put in, the things that you're going to do, like the things you did tomorrow or yesterday, is going to dictate what happens in the future. So the more things you do every day, the more that's going to compound, and your day of luck, if you will, is eventually going to show up, all right? And number 4, the strongest negotiation tactic is to be able to walk away from a situation and mean it. Again, if your boyfriend or girlfriend breaks up with you, you need to walk away, save your self-respect. They didn't want you in their life, so don't chase them, okay? Or if it comes to business related, if you want this deal to work out a specific way because you know your worth, it is, again, all of this leads to lowering your self-esteem by accepting that deal or chasing the person that broke up with you. This is just showing them that you don't think you're good enough to be okay with whatever outcome that you want, I guess, for lack of better words. And then number 5, don't be afraid to make mistakes. Look back at the situation and what you went wrong in, and go out and search for ways to do better the next time around. If you can figure out what you did wrong, take courses, watch YouTube videos, read books, listen to audio programs. I've said this before, and I'm going to say it again. Every single time I have set out to learn something to become a better person, my life has always gotten better and better and better. Whether that's finding better love, whether that's making more money in business, making business easier, meeting new friends, meeting new people that I didn't know before, building my social skills. Anytime you go out and learn something and then practice that, life just gets easier. So that's going to be the video. Make sure you like and subscribe. Hit the bell notifications to get notified for my new videos. Any questions that you have, go ahead and leave them in the comments, and then I'll get back to those. With that being said, thanks for watching, guys. I'll talk to you soon.